The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back into another episode of Belly Up After Dark. We're very excited to be here with you guys. We've got a lot to talk about because it is Super Bowl weekend coming up here very soon. It's going to be this Sunday, so we're going to have to talk about the Super Bowl, MVP in the NFL, and then we're also going to jump over into NBA action. We haven't talked about the NBA, at least in very far of any kind of extent or anything like that here on Belly Up After Dark, so we're going to have to dive into the NBA, some trades going on, so make sure to stay tuned for all of this. We're going to have a lot of fun. Make sure you've got your drink in hand and kick back and relax because this is Belly Up After Dark. We're very excited to get into it, guys. But before we get too far, I want to first remind everybody, go ahead and hit that like button. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. If you're watching on YouTube, you can always follow Belly Up Sports on all social media platforms, Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff. So go check us out over there and show us some love. And then you can always comment down below. That's one thing that we love about these live streams is that we can interact with you guys live. So make sure to jump in that live chat and don't be afraid to hit that donation button as well. We will absolutely read your comment if you donate. So make sure to do that down below. But let me go ahead and bring in the two co-hosts that I've got here for this evening on Belly Up After Dark. First, the man, the myth, the legend himself, Jared Clem from the Korner Booth podcast. Jared, how are we doing this evening?
What's up, kid? I am great. Just came off an amazing Super Bowl preview with the Korner Booth Pod. By the way, that's available on our YouTube, Belly Up's YouTube. We actually did our first Instagram live stream, which was awesome.
Oh, heck yeah.
I thought it was going to do a complete failure, but apparently Instagram's interface is very simple and very easy to use. No crashes, no bugs, no glitches. So shout out to Instagram for making that shit easy. I am now celebrating because I thought this was going to be a fucking nightmare. So now I'm drinking my, I think, third beer of the night, and I am going to enjoy every minute of it. Happy
Awesome.
to be here as always, even though I didn't know about the show until Tuesday night.
Yeah, no, it was totally a thing where Jared and I were like, oh crap, it is second and fourth. And so make sure to always tune in on every second and fourth Thursday of the month here at Belly Up After Dark. But we're also going to bring in first time coming on Belly Up After Dark, the man from Sports Scramble podcast, Chet. How we doing, man?
Well, as soon as you started the show, I was like, oh, let me grab my beer, go to crack it open, and it then explodes all over me. So I've got a little bit of a mess I'm cleaning up here on my end. But besides that, I'm doing pretty good. Appreciate y'all having me on.
It's a great way to start the show. But yeah, so we've got Chet from Sports Scrambled, Jared from Korner Booth, and I'm Josh Mahler, the host of Rising to the Occasion. But guys, we're going to have to dive into all of this. Oh, and how about that perfect timing? We've got the man from High Low Sports joining in right now, so let's get him in here. We've got DJ from High Low Sports. DJ, can you hear us, and how are you doing?
DJ Stu.
Yeah, loud and clear, and a little bit more Jared than I'd like, but I can hear you.
As always. But how you doing this fine Thursday evening here for Belly Up After Dark, DJ?
Glad to be here. It's enough Belly Up's fun during the day, so after dark is when it gets even more fun. So I'm excited to be here. Glad to join you guys. Could do without the Baker Mayfield jersey in the background, but otherwise we're feeling good.
I've got to swap it out. I don't like the fact that it's a Browns jersey, but that's where he got drafted, so that's kind of where I stand. But that's my guy.
Bucks jersey is probably still pretty cheap right now.
You would think. I'm nervous to get a Bucks jersey too, though, because what if he ends up not signing with the Bucks? I gotta wait. Until he
buy
signs.
His college jersey. Like you're a Sooner man.
I think I've got a college jersey, but that's one of them that I wear all the time, dude. I can't just be putting
buy
one.
Buy like what I did. I bought like an Ed Reed and a McLeod jersey that I actually are like too small for like my shoulders. I was like, all right, whatever. I'll throw them on the wall. Well, also my buddy doesn't understand. Like I'm not a size large. I'm a double XL. Like I can't fit in a large. So yeah, this Ed Reed jersey is awesome. I was about to put it on because we were on our way to Miami Boston College on Black Friday. And I'm like, buddy, I can't wear this. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I'm not a size large. Like, have you looked at me? I am a big dude. I'm 5'11", 240. There's not a lot of like conservative sizing on me. So like, what the hell do you think I was? But either way, having the Uncle Ed jersey on the wall is kind of cool. So, but yeah, no, dude, just go to like one of those websites, get like an undersized Mayfield jersey.
Maybe I'll just get I'll get an unlicensed one that's cheap.
Yeah,
I used to sell them in college.
Yeah,
You used
I got
this on?
triple XL.
That's how, yeah. I would buy a bunch. So I sold a lot of basketball jerseys in college. I would pick
Mhm.
like right at the beginning of the season. It was basically just like betting on who was going to have a good season. So it's a good thing Tyler Hero's rookie season, he did pretty good because I bought a bunch of Tyler Hero jerseys from China, from DH Gate, and then turned around and flipped them on campus.
Yep.
So you go into my like room, I just had like all the different Miami Heat colorways of just Tyler Hero. And I was like, I really hope he does good and he's not a bust. Because this would suck because I got a lot of merchandise to move.
We do not condone illegal merchandise sales or
Oh,
anything like that.
Rob,
Unlicensed sales, but yeah.
even if I got a free Wentz and Garnett jersey out of it. So
No, that
yeah,
you've definitely
all
got to
Black Eagles trees throwback. That's the mint stuff right there.
you've definitely got to find your way to save money here and there. And sometimes it's just by going to a sketchy website and putting in your credit card information, hoping that it doesn't get stolen. There's still like some. I'm trying to think of what it was. Oh yeah, it looked like an oil drum, but it was a toolbox. I'm still waiting for that from like 3 or 4 years ago.
AliExpress is that shit, baby.
Exactly. But guys, we're going to start off with the Super Bowl. But I guess before we get too far into it, we've got to start off with a sponsor for Belly Up After Dark, and that is SeatGeek. Guys, SeatGeek is absolutely amazing, and we highly recommend SeatGeek here at Belly Up Sports because SeatGeek is the best place to get your tickets. Every time that you use SeatGeek, you know that you can shop in a complete peace of mind. Because if you're a fan of live events, whether it's sports or music or theater, you know how challenging it can be to find the right tickets at the right price and find them very easily. That's where SeatGeek comes into play with a seamless mobile experience. SeatGeek allows you to buy and sell tickets in just 2 taps. It doesn't get any simpler than that. But it gets even better because SeatGeek also grades every ticket purchase based on their value to help you immediately identify the seats that fit your budget so you can look for those green dots knowing that you're getting the best deal. Yellow meaning that you can probably find a better deal, and red means keep on searching because you can absolutely find a better deal than this one here. So it makes it very easy. Plus, every purchase is fully guaranteed so you can shop with a complete peace of mind knowing that your ticket is going to work when you go to scan it in at the front gate. Now, we love SeatGeek so much here at Belly Up that we have teamed up with them to give you guys an amazing deal. You can use code BellyUpSports for $20 off at SeatGeek.com or by using that SeatGeek, the SeatGeek app. So go to SeatGeek.com or use the SeatGeek mobile app and use the code BellyUpSports. That's BELLYUPSPORTS for $20 off your next ticket purchase. SeatGeek has all of the tickets for all of your events, so go check them out, guys. And a huge thanks to SeatGeek for sponsoring Belly Up After Dark. But, guys, let's get into the Super Bowl. It's going to be a really fun one. Last I checked, and please correct me if I'm wrong, the 49ers are still favorites in this Super Bowl, which is a little shocking. The last I checked, they were still at -1.5, so still basically a 2-point favorite. Did that update?
That's my question.
The money line? I haven't even
No,
checked that.
like you know how like DraftKings and like that competitor site we don't refer to, we only call them Scam Duel. They will generally show like where the money's leaning. I'm kind of interested to see now where like America's putting the money because generally,
Last I checked, it was leaning towards Kansas City.
that's why I thought too.
majority
I
was
checked
Chiefs
my
money line.
lunch break today.
Yeah, because it was initially, I think, 2.5, 3, but now it's down to +2. So I think the money's going towards Kansas City. It'll probably drop down to 1 by kickoff, I'd imagine.
I
You're
have
giving
a
Houston's underdog a lot of people to hit that.
On DraftKings right now, they are favored -2, and it's -120 for the 49ers. So, it's interesting to see how that line's working too, because it usually persuades it's persuaded very heavily by the overall how many people are betting on which team. So I'm kind of surprised it hasn't jumped around more.
All right, so here's the official stat lines, by the way, for percentages. Money line 77% on Kansas City, 34% of the spread going to Niners -2. Overall total bets placed for the over-under is they're taking the over of 47 at 64%. So right now, basically, they're saying Kansas City, it's going to be a high-scoring game. That is what America's money is telling you right now, which means it's going to be San Francisco in a low-scoring game.
Yeah, most likely. It's probably going to be a
Vegas
low-scoring game. I mean, I've been feeling like hitting the under for a long time because let's not forget what this Kansas City team has done all season long. They have been playing defense. They haven't really been playing offense. So I'm not really sure that I see a high-scoring game, although 47.5 is pretty low overall, with two offenses that have stacked talent on both sides. So it is a really tough line to look at and decide on which side you're gonna jump on. But I guess first, I mean, since we're starting off there, I don't want to talk too much about the Super Bowl tonight, just because actually, like we were mentioning just before the show, ironically enough, all four of us will be on the Super Bowl show along with a few others here from Belly Up Sports. That's going to be on Saturday morning. What time did I say that was? That was at 9 a.m.
I think it was Sunday.
Nope, Saturday
Oh,
morning.
well, okay. I'll put my calendar around that.
We're doing a day before the Super Bowl, so Saturday morning.
Super Bowl.
Yep. So make sure to tune in on the Belly Up's YouTube channel for that as well. We should have that up on the Belly Up Facebook page as well, so you guys can watch live with us as we go through everything about the Super Bowl. But real quick on the Super Bowl, what are your guys' top bets? We'll kind of go around the horn. Chet, do you have any top bets that you'd throw in there for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so we mentioned it on our show on Sunday. Back when the 49ers and Chiefs played last time, 2019? My co-host Wade he didn't place the bet because we were not of legal age. We don't do illegal things over there at LSU, minus the selling the jerseys. But he predicted the score 31-21, and that's what the final score ended up being. And he was really upset. We weren't old enough to bet. So he's got a teaser for like a 24-23 final score. So that's like plus 30,000 odds there. But my favorite bet so far has been the Gatorade color. The best odds right now, I think, are purple at plus 300. It was purple last year, so we'll see if they go back to back, or maybe they switch it up. Possibly go red. The Taylor Swift connections, Travis Kelce rumored to propose after the Super Bowl. If they win, maybe it's red. If the 49ers win, there's a very good chance it's red also. So I'm liking that Gatorade bath.
DJ, we're going to hold off on you because I know you're going to have specific best bets on the Super Bowl show, so we'll hold off on you for your best bets. But Jared, do you have any best bets for the Super Bowl game?
Two that I love are they changed the line already. It was like plus 110, but it was like plus 210 before. But there was the 49ers to force a fumble and Nick Bosa over a quarter of a sack at minus 105. I have this weird suspicion that Bosa is going to be the Super Bowl MVP. Don't ask me why. Maybe it came to me in a dream. I have the best way to beat elite quarterback play in the Super Bowl over the past 20 years has been elite pass rushes. You go back 13 with the Seahawks, who basically put Peyton Manning on a poster. And then you had 15 with Von Miller and that Broncos defense, 17 with the Eagles defense. I believe 2 years ago with Aaron Donald and the Rams, elite pass rush and defensive line play can dominate a game and change a game completely. So the superior defensive line here is the 49ers, and the ringleader of that shitstorm is Nick Bosa. So the Nick Bosa, all you need is a quarter of a sack, which doesn't even exist as a stat line. That's the layup of a bet for me. If you need to pad your parlay a little bit, that's my favorite one I've seen so far.
Yeah. I mean, I love it.
The Nick Bosa came to you. What were you doing on the Capitol in that dream now, sir, that you felt Nick Bosa?
Listen, shout out to our boy Seizure for that joke, but I actually made that reference on the show earlier. No, I have the Niners right side of the Chiefs right side of their defensive line, Juwan Taylor, who I believe leads the league in penalties this year.
I got a picture of Juwan Taylor right here.
Yeah, that's a robot picture. I was waiting for listen, the over-under on this show was how long until DJ breaks out one of his flags because of me. So, yeah, it was always the under. So, no, but they talked about Juwan Taylor and Nick Bosa. He literally said, he holds a lot. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a fun afternoon because it's going to be Chase Young versus Trent Williams, a.k.a. the best left tackle of our generation.
Is Chase Young starting? Because last I heard, they were pretty under.
That whole rumor of him not playing is kind of went.
Well, I just heard that he wasn't starting because of his poor efforts. I
saw something on that too.
Yeah, and so I don't.
Since that initial story, which is what made me think it's a little.
I have to imagine he's playing regardless. I mean, I don't think you keep a guy with what he's capable of. And on top of that, I mean,
Armstead out of right end at that point.
I mean, you're not gonna hold back in the Super Bowl, and you're not gonna underestimate the Chiefs of all teams. So I would think that you would come out and you'd put every star player out there, and every star player is going to be playing their hardest. But
They
who
all can't
knows?
Miles Sanders their way out of playing.
True. But I mean, looking at it for me, I think my best bet that I was looking at last I checked, Isaiah Pacheco anytime touchdown was at -125. I love Isaiah Pacheco. I love his story. I feel like him getting into the end zone. Yeah, he runs hard. And have you heard the story for why he runs hard? I
Because
think
he's mad at everybody. I don't know. He's mad at the ground.
I've told this story before. I don't remember if it was last Belly Up After Dark or if it was over on the corner booth. But he lost his. I believe it was his brother first, and he was killed. And then shortly after, he lost his sister, and she had been killed. And so, he says he runs hard for them, and that's touching. I feel like that's. I mean, he's always ran hard. Like, where did he come from? Was it Rutgers that he came from?
Yeah.
And so I just remembered red and white. He's always ran hard, and I mean, it's just he's by himself in the open field, and you just see him powering down to the end of the ground.
I feel bad making fun of him now. I didn't know it was because of that.
No. I mean, I don't think it's any disrespect to kind of tease it the way that he runs, but it is very hard. It's aggressive, and you could tell like he's definitely mad at something or running for a specific goal, and it's a really cool story. I love watching him play, and then not only that, but what was he seventh round pick? So
yeah, it was late. Yeah,
just
himself.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well say that there's a Mr. Irrelevant on both sides. It's a really fun story. But let's go ahead and go a quick round of who you got winning the game. DJ, we'll start off with you since you didn't get to throw in a bet, since you're a bet extraordinaire for the Saturday show. Who do you have winning this one?
Everyone's going to lose a lot of money on me now because you had to title it that way. But for this one, as much as I don't want either team to necessarily win, I don't have a betting interest. It's hard to not pick the Chiefs when you give them points. They have been pretty outstanding when you give them points. So I'm going to take the Chiefs in a very, very close matchup. I don't feel confident in it. I'm not going to bet the money line, spoiler alert, for either team. But when the Chiefs get points, somehow they always find a way to pull it out. It's whenever you give them points, they find a way to do it. It makes no sense. So I'm going to take the Chiefs. They get their dynasty. They're 3 out of 4. Everyone's like, woohoo. And then they take a decade off, hopefully. They follow the Patriots to the T, since they're copying and pasting the Patriots from the best quarterback, coach, tight end, defense. They're doing everything they can to beat the Patriots again. Hopefully that means they take a decade off of just not winning.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to put money against them. But Jared, who you got in this game, just overall money on winning this game?
Oh, I have the 49ers. And I'm a big believer in America's money tells you where the game's not going. The other thing about this is the game line keeps shifting. I believe it started at 3.5 when the line opened up a week and a half ago. Now it's down to 2. It might go down to 1.5 for the game. I don't know. The fact that 77% of America's money, at least according to DraftKings, is on the Chiefs tells me a lot that they want everyone betting on Kansas City. They want the Swift Bowl, but we're ignoring the fact that this Niners team, except for 3 bogus losses in the middle of the season when they didn't have 2 of their best players, Debo and Trent Williams, they're basically unbeatable when they have those 2 guys in the lineup. So that being said, the Chiefs have basically kind of skimmed and clawed and gripped their way by a overperforming Bills team, a frozen Dolphins tuna can, and what looked like a possible choke job by the Ravens. Now they actually have to play an actual real team. And I'm kind of just like, because I don't know which Niners team's going to show up on Sunday. Because are we going to get the same Niners team that lost to the Browns when they sold Deshaun Watson? Or are we going to get the Niners team that thumped Philadelphia and Dallas by 30 each? So it's going to be interesting to see what happens on Sunday. I still think the Niners, though, I think their pass rush is what separates them.
Yeah, 100%. Chet, how about you? Who do you got for the
PJ Walker's Browns? That's different now. That was PJ Walker's Browns. We put some respect on those.
That's
Browns.
right. That's PJ Walker. Oh my God, I forgot that was PJ Walker.
You shut your mouth when you speak about PJ Walker now.
Chet, who do you got winning this Super Bowl matchup between the Chiefs and the Niners?
So who do I want would be the Niners, just because I really like Brock Purdy. I like the whole Mr. Irrelevant storyline. The fact that they Probably would have won it last year if he doesn't, tear his ulnar nerve and can't throw a football, and Christian McCaffrey's the quarterback by the third quarter. Who do I think's going to win? The storyline, the script, the whole NFL being rigged on Twitter, the Taylor Swift. It's Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. You're once again making them an underdog, as we've seen in the past couple weeks. It's bulletin board material for them. They've been there before. They know how to win. Andy Reid, one of the best coaches right now. Patrick Mahomes, probably the best quarterback in the NFL. I just don't think he can go against him. I think he knows what he's doing. It scares me. They got Kadarius Toney is starting. I want to see what that over/under is on dropped passes by Toney. I don't know if he's starting, but he's healthy and playing because he claims he can play. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of balls thrown his way, because I could see it being tipped pass for an interception or a drop touchdown to win the game by Toney. But I think the Chiefs are going to end up pulling it out.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy too. You back up. Let's see, was that against the Lions in Week 1? Whenever he had the big drop, he had one that was a pick six. There was another one. It might have been the same game where Mahomes heaves it deep, goes right through his hands. Which game was that? I'm kind of drawing a blank.
Well, yeah, I also have Marquez Valdez-Scantling against Philadelphia with the game-tying touchdown just going right through his hands.
That's the one I'm thinking of, is Marquez Valdez-Scantling. Yeah. So I mean, it's been an issue. Even Travis Kelce himself has been dropping a lot of passes this season, especially for being Travis Kelce. Way too many.
Boy.
Yeah, so I mean, it's been kind of crazy. But to kind of go back to what Jared was talking about and looking at the Chiefs. They have barely won a lot of games this season as a whole. They've had to claw their way in to win most of their games, and especially whenever you look into the playoffs, like you brought up, Jared, that's just what they've done. But that's why not only do I never want to put my money against the Chiefs, just because they are the Chiefs, but the fact that they just find a way to win, which you could argue that the 49ers had to do the same thing. They've been behind against the Packers and the Lions and came back in both of them. But this one kind of feels like a different one. And then on top of that, you look at Shanahan's record for being behind. I'm just gonna throw that out there. From I guess Shanahan's record of having a lead and then end up blowing that lead is what I meant. And so, just looking at this game, I don't see a way that the Chiefs don't find a way to win the game. And I think the whole script thing is kind of getting funnier and funnier, because the entire season, it seems like from week at least week 8, something like that, we had the whole, look at the Super Bowl logo, it's going to be the Ravens and the 49ers, and it was that way all the way up until the Chiefs won. We got to change it. The script is actually that Taylor Swift wants to win the Super Bowl. So
the red is for Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
the purple for her album cover.
It's kind of funny at this point now that I figured the script was going to change whenever everybody was wrong about it.
The NFL script thing is just a fucking joke. And here's the thing: as somebody who has lost money enough, and DJ knows this because he's on my show every week, and I've been friends with him and Kelce for a long time now. I make dumb bets, but I don't blame the NFL being rigged for me losing money. I blame me for being a dipshit for losing money. So this is what the problem is. The NFL, yes, they do lean calls towards certain players. A lot of leagues do. The NBA does it. The MLB just umpires suck. Let's be honest, but. Like college basketball will lean towards star power, so will the NHL, so will the NBA. NFL does it as well. So Patrick Mahomes will get a call before Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts. Well, that's a no-brainer there. He'll still get over Josh Allen or Baker Mayfield. Does not matter. But the NFL at least has some kind of regularity. Like if Patrick Mahomes throws 3 interceptions on Sunday and the Chiefs just cannot move the football, they will lose. There's no way to move that around. So the NFL scripted thing, I hope this gets put to bed this year. I swear it's just a bad excuse by bad gamblers for blaming the NFL for them being stupid.
That's the part of me. That's the part of me that wants to see the Niners win, just because I'm kind of tired of everybody. But at the same time, like I think this for me, and I brought this up to you, Jared. It's just for me. I see this Chiefs team similar to how Alabama was. I was rooting for Alabama this year, which is kind of odd because everyone's against Alabama. Everyone's against the Chiefs. I was doing that for both of them because they had to fight through adversity. And it was kind of one of those years where you see them
Alabama
at
has
their
to fight for
worst.
adversity.
You see them at their worst and fighting through it. And so I think that's one reason where you kind of step back and see a dynasty that is falling, and like, man, you got to give them props for what they've been able to do with not being able to put together an offensive scheme to save their lives, and their defense stepping up and winning the games for them. So I think it's just been kind of one of those things overall. But I wanted to get to MVP. I've been trying to keep an eye on my phone, make sure that I don't miss it, because I know that it's going on right now when they're going to announce it. And so I want to make sure that I don't miss it. But we're assuming, and we talked about this last Billy Up After Dark, we're assuming Lamar Jackson gets it, right?
Oh, isn't this the largest favorite they've had in like a decade? According to Vegas, I heard something like it was one of the highest favorites they've had in so long that they don't know what to do with it. But I'm more surprised. Like it kind of, this feels like the most like lackluster MVP.
Yeah, well, and here's my case. So Christian McCaffrey and Dak Prescott, I would say, are probably the two closest to winning it, right? The two that would probably be the next up favorites, and two that everyone else would probably look at and say they have the best chances to win this thing. So I'm going to take McCaffrey for example, because I think he has the best case. So he's had nearly 1,500 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns, and honestly, you watch him. Every week he's putting the team on his back. There's no doubt about who the glue is that's holding that offense together. Outside of Trent Williams, it would be Christian McCaffrey. And so, I mean, I think that's very obvious when you look at that team. If they have a Deebo Samuel go down with an injury and off the field, we're questioning if that's going to hurt the offense a little bit. A Brandon Ayuk, a George Kittle, we're going to question what the offense can do. But if a Christian McCaffrey comes off and he's hurt, we're highly questioning what this offense is able to do without him. And of course you can always say that about Brock Purdy too, but that's the quarterback position. That's a little more I guess higher standards kind of held for the quarterback. So looking at that, so Lamar, he only has 29 29 total touchdowns this season, 24 passing, 5 rushing. He's fourth in the QBR with 64.7, 15th in passing yards with 3,678. The last time that a QB won the MVP with fewer than 30 touchdowns was in 2008 when Peyton Manning won the MVP.
And that's completely different NFL at that point.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's running the football NFL.
So in the NFL's worst year for quarterbacks, we're praising. And so I was kind of on the same page with everybody else. Sure, Lamar deserves it. Look how good their team's doing. And you can say, yeah, but he was without Mark Andrews. But you can't act like Likely wasn't out there balling it up for him. You can't act like he didn't have Zay Flowers step out there as a rookie and just go lights out. Yeah, and you can't say that he didn't have Odell Beckham out there performing very well. And so I don't really want to. I don't buy that as an excuse. So we're going to say that on the quarterback's down year, we're going to praise him. And then you go over to Dak Prescott. He led the league in passing touchdowns with 36, only 9 interceptions, second in QBR, and third in passing yards with 4,516. So if we're going to compare quarterbacks, you would say that Dak Prescott was the better quarterback, right? But he didn't win as much as Lamar. He didn't have the wow factor. Yeah, and so I'm looking at this. I'm going to back up Christian McCaffrey. I think this is a snub from Christian McCaffrey. I think we just look to give it to a quarterback, and we're also looking to give it to Lamar because he's performing very well in the passing game compared to what he used to.
Breaking news, Josh, by the way.
Lamar ends up winning.
Myles Garrett is officially the NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Final vote count according to Ari Mirov at My Sports Update. 23 votes for Myles Garrett, 19 for TJ Watt, 7 for Micah Parsons, and Deron Bland, 1 vote.
Man, that's kind of surprising. I'm really surprised. I don't know, like looking at TJ, because TJ's been injured for how many games this year? I feel like he's been out. Yeah, at least 3 or 4.
That's what impacted him, really.
Yeah, and so I'm really surprised that he made it that far up. And so kudos to the voters for not taking that into effect.
Listen,
But yeah,
it was not the most slanted voting. C.J. Stroud won Offensive Rookie of the Year, 48-2 over Puka Nakua. So there's your slammer
I
right
mean,
there.
can you blame anyone
No,
for picking him? I mean, let's be honest. Puka Nakua, not only does he have a cool name, really fun to say, amazing season. I think you can. Man, this was a tough year for rookies all around because Zay Flowers was a rookie this year too, right?
Mhm.
And so with him being a rookie, I'm trying to think too. I feel like there's been some other rookies really stepping up in the league. I feel like this has been a really good year for rookies. So but
Gibbs, yeah, like they had a squad. It's
Yeah.
tough because clearly CJ Stroud, you're not surprised by the 48-2, but I cannot fault the two people who picked Puka Nakua, who set the rookie record for receiving yards. As
Yeah,
well, to
yeah,
tell you.
100%.
You're wrong, Colonel
He-
Sanders.
he-
Mom is
he
right.
set the world on fire.
Yeah. I mean, you're 100% correct. I mean, it's a tough year. So I mean, hats off to C.J. Stroud, the dude that was passed up on because he didn't score so well in the cognitive test. So hats off to him. Come out there.
He's taking number 2 now. Let's take it easy. Now he was still taking number 2, and they wanted him number 1, but the owner is we seen David Trevor. He's an idiot. So like to me, he doesn't get he was the number 2 pick. He should have been the number 4 pick, but he was the number 2 pick.
Well, and looking back then, I totally agreed with it. I don't think there was many of us that would have stood up and said, yeah, C.J. Stroud over Bryce Young. I said not many of us. And Chet, you don't.
3 out of the 4.
Chet, you don't count because you're an LSU fan.
I watched Bryce Young get carried by better receivers.
You also
I
think
watched
that
Bryce Young get carried by the refs.
you also think that Jaden Daniels deserved to win the Heisman. So I don't want to hear it from you.
Well, this plays into the MVP conversation because I was going to bring this up. You have to look at the MVP race like they looked at the Heisman race for college football. It's the regular season who has the best regular season. Throw out what Lamar did in the playoffs last week. Throw out what Dak did.
There's no rules that say that you just look at the regular season though.
But it's the regular season MVP.
Yeah.
Is the thing, and you got to look at throw out the team success. If you look at the numbers, Dak had a much better season than Lamar did, but Lamar won more games. That's who's the headlines. But I'm on your boat, Josh. I think it should be Christian McCaffrey. I don't think Lamar won all those games by himself because you look at his numbers; they're not crazy. The thing with Jaden Daniels is without Jaden Daniels, LSU wins 3-4 games this season.
Yeah, I'm surprised you're bringing up wins when you're backing up Jaden Daniels there in the Heisman race.
Well, that's why I'm saying if between Dak and Lamar, I'm picking Dak. But I don't think it's going to be Dak just because they's almost like forgotten about at this point. The season's past them all. We're in the postseason. McCaffrey's playing for a Super Bowl, media-wise, and just what's the word I'm looking for? Like you're a prisoner of the moment. I think it's going to be like a Lamar, maybe with a close second McCaffrey. But I honestly feel it should be McCaffrey because at this point, if it's not, it's just a QB award. Why even call it
MVP? That's the thing that frustrates me about it.
The most valuable player to any team in football is Christian McCaffrey to the 49ers. When he was not on that team last year, or when he was injured or missed a game, anytime since he's been on this roster, they are not the same football team. Also, I have other breaking news. We have our defensive rookie of the year, by the way. It is Mr. Will Anderson of the Houston Texans. My boy Jalen Carter got robbed.
I don't know about that.
Too fast, too furious, got robbed.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy what D'Amico Ryan has done. I mean, if you look at the teams that have the brightest future, I don't know how you don't put the Texans up there at number 1 for the brightest future overall.
So here's
it's a great time to be a Texans fan. I'll tell you that.
Absolutely.
Vote count, by the way, boys. Defensive lineman, we up, baby. Will Anderson, 16. Jalen Carter, 14. Kobe Turner, 14.
Man, that is a tight
Holy
race. I love
shit,
that.
That's close. Also, for you dipshits who voted for Kobe Turner just because he had a couple of garbage time sacks, you suck.
DJ, how do you feel about the MVP race?
It's tough because I feel like it was going to be CMC or Tyreek Hill, who we forget until he injured his ankle was in the thick of it as well. I think him injuring his ankle and then kind of like with the Heisman race as well too. Like sometimes it's not always the accumulation of your season; it's what you do at the right time. Sometimes as well too. Like sometimes it's who you beat and when you beat them. Same with rankings to get to the college football playoff. You'd rather beat the good teams late than beat them early because beating them early, people forget about it. And the last image we saw Lamar, he dropped 9 touchdowns on the 49ers and the Dolphins. The other two arguable MVP candidates at that time as well. So I think the lasting impression, I think there's what's going to – not that Lamar doesn't deserve it. I agree. I would pick CMC if I was a voter per se. I'm not going to put Dak in there. He's a tuna can crusher. Those stats are inflated. We saw what happens. I know what everyone's saying. He's still a Pro Bowl top 10 quarterback, but it's tough. Like Christian McCaffrey, if he'd have played that last week too, I think if he could have, for lack of better terms, inflated his numbers a little bit, that could have made it a little more pronounced because his numbers are pretty similar, identical to Jonathan Taylor in 2021 with total yards, touchdowns, etc. And he didn't even get a vote for MVP that year because you had Cooper Kupp's triple crown, Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady doing Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady things, which we didn't have this year. So 6 and 1 and half a dozen the other. I can't really say, no, you can't give it to Lamar or it's trash. But at the same time, I'm like, CMC's right there. There was no quarterback. There wasn't that Aaron Rodgers 48-6 season. Or it's weird. Like I would pick CMC personally, but I can't really say how dare you pick Lamar. It's robbery. It's treacherous.
There wasn't
reason. Stop the count. None of that.
I get DJ. I'm with you. Like even the year, like we'll go back to 2017. Look at it. The two best players in the league were Wentz until he got hurt and Todd Gurley, but it went to Brady because it's a quarterback award.
And we're in agreement. So that's why it's tough. But I would pick CMC. That's where I'm gonna stick with. But at the same time, Lamar gets. I'm like, well, I can't really hate because when you drop 10 touchdowns on what are the two leading candidates in the last 2 weeks we see you, it's gonna leave a lasting impression as well, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and that's where I was with the Heisman race too. Last time I was talking to you about that, Chet, was like it's not that I don't think Jaden Daniels deserved the Heisman as well. I think 100% he was one of the absolutely at least top 3, if not top 2 guys. It's just really hard when you look at overall comparisons, and it really is difficult too because you start to play the hypothetical game. Okay, well let's say we were to switch. Let's go over to let's compare. I guess for quarterback to quarterback. Let's switch Lamar and Dak Prescott. Who has the better season then? If we switch teams for them, and so you start to play hypotheticals with the voting whenever you're trying to go against, trying to pick who you're going to pick for who's more valuable to their team. And then you're also playing the hypothetical of, well, if we were to take them off the field, what does it look like? Or you start to think of the weapons around them, and all of that kind of plays into the voting, and all of it plays into it, and it ultimately comes down to a bunch of people's opinions on who the best one was, and their opinions are always wrong, regardless of who they pick. And so, that's just the thing with whether it be Heisman voting or the committee picking the top 4 in college football playoff, or with the MVP voting. So it's just it's a shame that it all comes down to this, and that we can't by now with the age of technology and AI and everything about it, that we couldn't figure out a better system or. I'll even back up. We were talking about last Belly Up After Dark with the UFC, with the decisions that are made sometimes in UFC or boxing or really any combat sports. There's a lot of things like that just come down to the opinion of a group of people. And like I said, no matter what they decide, they're always going to be wrong to somebody. But Jared, keep us updated on all of those awards. I'm gonna rely on you for that. That way I don't have to keep on trying to check down at my phone and host at the same time. But let's jump over to the
point there, Josh, to the MVP. If they were always right, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. This
exactly.
Is what the argumentative and having differing opinions from the voters. It should be. They should make it like a fan vote or something, or you just have all the fantasy football owners and players in that vote, because then it's like, okay, who is more impactful to your team, Lamar Jackson or CMC? I think CMC is running away with that every time. So just little, maybe make it a fan vote, and maybe that's how they change it next year. But will it happen?
With all of this stuff too, it makes it more fun. It the drama that you put into sports, and especially when it comes down to awards, the drama makes it more fun for fans. Were you going to say something there, DJ?
Yeah, I got one thing I just want to chime in with the defense player of the year before we move forward. So somebody obviously retweets, put Myles Garrett's stats up next to Parsons and TJ Watt, and this goes back to stats compared to film talk. Even Micah Parsons retweeted that, said, horrible take, Myles was the better player. Reality of the situation, Myles faced more double teams and effect on QBs. Fans stop looking at the stats and look at the film, please, too.
Yeah.
Which is the tough part when we talk about these awards, because we look at Lamar's stats, could be better, but then when we watch what he does to that 49ers team, it's like, oh, shit, that dude's different. That looks like Jaden Daniels in college, for lack of better terms, as well. Today,
Uh,
that's where
Looks
where
like Lamar in
goofy.
college.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
Coming
exactly.
to the
So
corner
shout out
of
to
the
Michael.
shop, by the way. Coming to the corner booth shop, stats fucking suck. I hate stats. It's a film game. Football is a film game. I don't give a fuck if you scored 16 touchdowns, but they're all in garbage time. It's a possibility, by the way. Also, by the way, who the fuck is
stats
Yaya
don't
Diaby?
You don't match the weird stuff.
Yaya
Who the
Diaby?
fuck is Yaya Diaby? I don't know who the fuck this guy is. I've been covering football for 20 years now, like pro or semi-pro, or just as a kid, just loving the game. I don't know who this kid is.
He's good.
I
What
don't know
did
who
he-
Yaya Diaby. He got a vote for defensive rookie of the year.
Oh, really?
I
He's
didn't even know
good.
this kid was-
He's good though. He's out of
Who does he
Louisville,
play
if I'm
for?
not mistaken. I think.
Oh,
Tampa Bay,
it's that
but I
kid.
think he's from Louisville. Yeah, from Louisville, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about now. Yeah, because I recognize the name, but I couldn't think of I didn't know who he played for right now. I
I'm
didn't
just
even
trying
know
to
that
understand how he got our vote, but it's probably a Tampa guy voted for him.
probably
Probably
you
some
had
local
had
reporter.
This is
you
what I
had
hate
Baker
about this, man. Like,
sneak in there real quick.
oh my god, like how did Joey Porter Jr. even get a vote on this? Like, he was even the best corner
That's
in the class. Fucking
No, yeah.
fucking Inzers.
No, it's all just who you want. It's all opinions. But again,
Yeah,
another
it's like-
talking point. There
I'm
there
still
goes
bitter
Chet's.
because Jalen Carter
Well,
to
and
me was
that's-
superior to Will Anderson.
If the AI point you brought up, Josh, they somehow develop that into making these picks, that would be interesting to see. But with it just being like journalists and sports broadcasters and things like that, the journalists are obviously going to vote for the guy in their region. 9 times out of 10, right? You might have sometimes they go outside and say, no, I don't agree
I'd
with
say
this.
7
Go
times
with
out of
that.
10.
They're going to
Still-
go with the
still
guys in their
high
region.
percentage.
Exactly. And that was a big thing back to just real quick on the Heisman race when Washington beat Oregon. All of a sudden, you saw all of the Pac-12 and West Coast journalists change their narrative from Bo Nix should win the Heisman to it should be Michael Penix. And it was just like that. It's because that's the guy from their region. So it was like the Northwest versus the Southeast kind of going for the Heisman race there, to where almost Bo Nix wasn't even in consideration anymore. It was Penix or it was Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
So maybe changing it to a fan vote. Yeah, you're going to get some of those guys that vote for their quarterback, like a Tampa guy voting for Baker Mayfield or something like that. But you might see, yeah, I guess it would make a majority of people happy because it's a majority vote that wins.
Well,
but
and to that
it's never
too,
going to be perfect.
I think the bigger fan base wins, and like the bigger fan
That's
base, because I think a lot of fan bases, they're gonna be realistic with it. If LSU has a year where they don't really have anybody standing out, they're not going to sit there and try to vote for their quarterback
Exactly.
through
Right.
46 interceptions that year. They're going to be realistic about it and be like, there's going to be some fans that are still going to vote for.
You're going to
their
have
guy.
to have like a top 5 candidates.
Yeah.
And
So,
that's who people you can vote for.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, maybe that top 5 gets thrown in there, and then you have a way to vote, something like that. But guys, let's jump over to the NBA trade. All these trades that are going on before the deadline. We've got NBA All-Star week coming up as well. But we're going to start off with the trades. A few of them that I saw, of course, you guys can probably see behind me. I've got the Buddy Hield jersey, so big news to me. Buddy Hield to the 76ers. I thought that was a big time move. A guy that is, I know I'm biased, so you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think underappreciated in the NBA. Just one of those role players that steps into his place very well. And so Buddy Hield over to the 76ers. That was a big one for me. Bojan Bogdanovic, he goes over to the Knicks from the Pistons. So he's been bounced around from team to team here recently. But another one of those guys that can step out on the court. And he's kind of like one of those kind of like secret weapons that you throw out there and don't expect him to do anything. And then he just shows up and puts up 25 points on you, and you don't even know how. And then another one was Gordon Hayward over to OKC. I didn't even realize that Gordon Hayward was still in the NBA. So this one kind of caught me by surprise.
Yeah,
I
he's
thought
a
he was still
professional
injured.
walk infirmary report at this point. Like his injury list is a CVS receipt. The
Yeah.
poor guy since that shattered ankle has not been able to stay healthy.
No, and I feel terrible for the guy because I loved him whenever he was prime at the Celtics. He was a phenomenal player, just really fun to watch out there on the court. But
Even
then,
in
yeah,
Utah days.
and
Utah.
then, that's right. I forgot even at Utah. I forgot about him playing there. But yeah,
Evergreen
just
of the Mormons.
Yeah, you can't forget about those Mormons out there in Utah. Where did he go to college? Do you know?
Butler, because he had that half court shot against Duke
That's
that just
right.
hit the backboard in the front of the rim.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, it's so far. I've been seeing some of these moves and some other potential moves that haven't been quite made. I think Spencer Dinwiddie looking like he might go out to the Lakers, so they're going to add more out there. So that's another big pickup for them. I mean, with all the trades, I mean, have you guys seen any other trades too that you want to throw out there? But what trade really catches your eye?
I'll start
I
with
was
it.
I was in tune with.
Sorry, my bad. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I was just gonna say I was in tune with the LeBron rumors. That would have been interesting to see, but that's about all I got to add to the NBA trade talk. So.
Yeah, I felt like that was just one of those that was thrown out there because it was a fun piece to talk about, but it wasn't ever happening. I don't know why they would ever trade LeBron. LeBron seems
That would
pretty
be
happy in
stupid,
LA.
yeah.
Yeah, I didn't understand that at all. But I would have been all for seeing him go somewhere else, like in a trade. What kind of package can you get for LeBron?
It got the media talking. That's
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly.
So I'll just go ahead and touch on the Buddy Hield one too, because I think that could be a really good trade because he's a lights out shooter, catch and shoot. Pair him with Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, Tobias Harris. That is. Question is, part of the reason were rumors that he got shipped out of Indiana in the first place was questions about effort, especially defensively and things like that as well too.
He's always been one to kind of question his effort on defense. Because if you back up, whenever he was playing for Oklahoma, it was you don't play defense because we're not going to allow you to foul out, and so I feel like that's carried over to the NBA a lot.
Exactly, and unfortunately, they need him to play defense as a perimeter guy as well. So I think if he doesn't have to play a lot of defense, obviously, but you can't just. You have to be a 3 and D guy. You can't just be a 3 guy unless you're also the leading scorer. So I think if you can just play a little defense whenever Joel Embiid comes back, hopefully he's healthy, Tobias Harris, and then behind him, he'll be okay playing off of Tyrese Maxey. We'll see, but it could be a good move. He just has to play a little bit more defense if they take out those questions. I think that's a really good move for the Sixers in that playoff run once Embiid comes back off of the surgery, etc. Yeah. Assume he doesn't get hurt again.
Yeah, I mean he's one of those guys too that he's such a lights out shooter that you guard him up close, but he's also very good at slashing through the lane. So that was one of them. I was shocked to see the Pacers get rid of him, but I feel like they had a really good return. I saw several posts about who won this trade. I feel like it was a very well thought out and a very even trade overall, well rounded trade overall. Just seeing everything that the Pacers got in return, I think they got a couple of second rounders. And then on top of that, a couple of other, kind of bench players, but really, really good for the Pacers to be able to get something in return for, a piece that isn't like your key star. And so I think they win the trade too. But then the 76ers with Embiid being out right now, of course, you don't have a big man that you're adding there, but now you've got an extra scorer that can help on offense, at least over there. But Jared, did you have any other NBA trades or one of them that we even mentioned?
Well, hilariously enough, we were talking about the NBA trade deadline. I was thinking, since my team is second or tied first in the West, we're going to make a move. We're going to go get a shooter. We go get a guy who I thought was one of the Morris brothers. It's not. It's Marquis Morris. He's not even a Morris brother. He just has the same last name. The Buddy Hield trade to me, I think was the biggest one where I think everyone kind of has to talk about. PJ Washington going to the Mavs is a little underrated. I think it gives a little perimeter help. But Pat Bev getting dealt for the 15th time in 2 years. Come on, man. My man's got a frequent Flyers card at this point. He is just all around the country. I'm kind of laughing about it. I believe the Hawks trade to me kind of didn't make sense to me a little bit. I don't know why they got rid of them. I thought Drummond was going to get moved. Or it did get moved. Drummond got moved, right?
I didn't see anything about him. I know. Last I checked, I saw something, some rumors of possibilities for him. But he's one of those guys too that, man, I don't even know how old is he getting? Because he's been in the league for a while.
There.
Yeah,
he's got to be up there.
He's in his mid-30s now. He's 31, 32 now for a athletic big man. He's older.
I mean, one thing totally not related to trades at all. But it was like just before I started loading up and getting ready for this show. Shout out to my guy Jonathan Isaac, had a big time block on Wembanyama. So that was pretty awesome to see. He was able to kind of welcome him to the NBA.
Yeah, welcome to the league, young buck.
Yeah. And I actually went up too to watch Jared's team, and I tell you, man, like the Timberwolves have such an amazing atmosphere up there, and they've upgraded the stadium a lot since the last time I went up there. One thing, Timberwolves organization, one thing you need to bring back is the big old moon in the corner, because it would light up and everybody would howl at the moon. They don't do that anymore. That's stupid. Why would you have taken that away? That's an amazing feature. But yeah, that was the one thing that frustrated me when I went back up there with all the updates that had gone on since the last time I was up there. But the Timberwolves are a really fun team to go watch and really fun atmosphere. I did see another one too. Another one to bring up. Robin Lopez. I don't know if it was official, but over to Sacramento.
But apparently he's getting bought out. The contract's getting bought out now.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. But yeah, that's apparently the new word. Apparently Dinwiddie's contract's getting bought out. Like, there's a lot of candidates that are gonna apparently, like, they're talking about a lot of these guys who are like they're not even gonna try. Oladipo to the Grizzlies. They're talking about buying his contract out.
Yeah, I mean the trades get crazy in the NBA too. It's like, we'll trade you these two players and a pick if you trade them to this team and this team to that team, and this team jumps in too. And we've got a 12-way trade going in here where you have no idea where anybody came from or where, what picks are going where. And then it's just like all of us here fans are just kind of having to scratch our heads wondering what just went on.
I mean, sometimes they throw in like free sandwiches for a year. What was that, like NBA 2K19? I think you got traded in the G League to another team, and it was for like a sandwich coupon.
Well, see what we were getting all loud about was that if the Timberwolves opponent, if they missed 2 free throws in a row, you get a free Chick-fil-A sandwich. And so we were all cheering for that. And you'd have the guy miss the first one, and everybody's going crazy. And then he makes the second one, and so nobody got a free Chick-fil-A sandwich. So
Chick-fil-A should be on him for everybody.
Exactly.
Man, you got to miss one just to help everybody out.
And then I felt bad because I was kind of cheering against Jonathan Isaac at the end because he misses his first free throw. And I'm like, oh, come on, dude, you can at least give me some free Chick-fil-A. And then he misses that one too. But that was like the last free throws thrown of the game too. And I was like, man, I'm not supposed to root against him because I came to watch him play. But let's jump over to All-Star Weekend. And any updates on any other awards there, Jared?
No awards. I've been following Mr. Mirov, who is usually my go-to. I haven't seen shit since CJ got announced. I think they're holding off for the big one. Kevin Stefanski wins Coach of the Year. Breaking news as of 30 seconds ago.
Okay, I'm not down on that. That's he had an amazing season with 3 different quarterbacks.
A lot of money.
Yeah, so I mean, just huge, good for him. And the thing is, too, I really like Kevin Stefanski. I was mixing up his last name and his first name together. Kevin Stefanski. Stephen Stefanski. I love him. I think he's a really great coach. But man, I'd have a hard time looking at him in a Browns like polo and everything. Like he just doesn't fit in with the dog pound. And like the drunk fans falling asleep in the stadium and everything. Like he just doesn't fit in with that atmosphere.
He's too handsome and dignified. It doesn't make any sense. He needs to like have a beer belly and start filling and stuff. He has to go in with some spaghetti stains on his coat or something.
I thought
like that.
Freddie Kitchens was the guy, dude. Freddie Kitchens looked the part.
He needs to have his beard explode before he walks out of the tunnel.
Yeah. No, I mean, it was funny, but keep us updated on that, Jared. But before we go into the NBA All-Star Weekend,
Okay, so final vote tally: Kevin Stefanski 21 votes, D'Amico Ryans 20, Dan Campbell 3, Kyle Shanahan 3, John Harbaugh 2, Sean McVay 1. Anybody who didn't vote for Campbell, Ryans, or Stefanski, you're a dipshit.
Yeah, D'Amico Ryans felt like the front runner for me. I get it. You brought the Browns as far as you did. Sure. Good job. But D'Amico beat you.
Look at this. They had the same amount of votes.
Why does John Harbaugh get one? Why does McVay, congratulations, you made the wild card round.
What has McVay done this year? I mean, good job. You brought your sucky team to be not too bad this year. They're pretty good, Good job.
Hey, as long as Dennis Allen doesn't have any votes, I'm happy.
But let's go
that's-
ahead and
I thought the Saints were technically getting relegated. I thought that was a thing yet.
They should be relegated. Dennis Allen should be relegated to coach like Tulane or something. We'll take Tulane's head coach. He can be the coach of the Saints.
there we go.
Well,
Let's go ahead and have a quick word from our friends over at Righteous Felon real quick before we jump into the NBA All-Star Weekend.
Righteous Felon Craft Jerky is the official jerky of Belly Up Sports. For over a decade, Righteous Felon Craft Jerky has led the American meat snack revolution by concocting delicious, adventurous, U.S.-sourced jerky recipes for uncompromising carnivores across the country. With 15 different flavors to choose from, Righteous Felon has all jerky lovers covered, and by using promo code BELLYUP, you will get 15% off your purchase at righteousfelon.com. Do your taste buds a favor today and rip into a bag of Righteous Felon jerky.
A huge thanks to our friends over at Righteous Felon. Again, if you have not tried Righteous Felon Jerky, you are missing out. Go over to righteousfelon.com and use that promo code BELLYUP for 15% off. Amazing jerky. And thanks to Brent and McCarthy for putting that little ad together for us. It makes it much easier so I don't have to have another ad read slipped in there on Belly Up After Dark. But check out righteousfelon.com and use that promo code BELLYUP for 15% off. Amazing jerky over there. But let's go ahead and get into NBA All-Star Weekend. First, I wanted to talk about this one because ever since it was announced, it just kind of seemed odd to me. I can understand the move and why you're doing it. I'm gonna watch it because I want to see what happens. But it was Stephen Curry, so it's called Stephen versus Sabrina. So you're gonna have Stephen Curry against Sabrina Ionescu. She was a phenomenal. A phenomenal college basketball player at Oregon, had a great season there, several seasons really, great career there. But they're going to go together and go against each other in a three-point challenge. The first that I heard about this, she was saying that she wanted to shoot from the NBA three-point line as well. I was really hoping that they would do that, just because I don't want to get too much into politics or anything, but I'm against men competing in women's sports. And so this is a perfect example of, now just keep yourself in your sport. And that's about it. But she is going to be shooting from the women's, from the WNBA three-point line. So I do think this is going to be really interesting because if you back up to her last three-point challenge, if I remember correctly, because I didn't write it down in my notes, I think she scored a 27 in the WNBA All-Star Weekend, 27 out of 30. And so that is incredible. And so I do think this is going to be very interesting since she's shooting from that women's three-point line, the WNBA three-point line. So since she's moved in and she's going to be shooting with a women's ball, so it makes it very fair. And so, seeing this, I think this is going to be a fun one. This is one that I'm kind of looking forward to just because it's one of those extra events. On top of that, the courts are going to be all LED courts, and they're going to have everything, change. So for each event, they're going to have different color court for each event. They're going to have all the lines are everything's going to have graphics all over the place. That's something that I think is kind of cool. I'm interested to see how that all plays out. It may turn into what we saw with the in-season tournament where the courts were just so loud that it was really hard to pay attention to the game. But I wanted to start off with this Steph versus Sabrina three-point challenge and get your guys' thoughts on it.
They should put Caitlin Clark in there. See what she can do.
I would love to see it. I would love to see it. I'm sure that's probably the next one up. I mean, once she gets into the WNBA, I'm sure, put her in the skills challenge or something like that.
Steph started his game tonight against the Pacers 7 for 7 from 3. I don't know how long that streak lasted.
Jeez. I think they're still
he finished 11 of 16 from 3.
He's warming up then.
Yeah, he finished 11 of 16 from 3. So I mean, he only missed 5 shots. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's impressive. DJ.
Only 2 he was 15 for 22 in total field goals. So that's pretty dang good.
Yeah. I mean, he's lights out. I mean, is there any argument that he's the best just overall, just accurate shooter to have played the game? I don't know of any.
I don't think so.
Maybe Larry Bird is up there.
The only guys who are close are Reggie and Ray. That's it.
I would put Larry up there just because he just shot stupid shots that still went in, bouncing it, or like jumping over and shooting it over the backboard and stuff like that. So maybe you could throw him in the mix. But I mean, it just seems like Steph can shoot from anywhere on the court. But DJ, how you feeling about this contest?
Weird feeling that Sabrina is gonna win. I don't know what it is. Like we agree and say
If
Steph's
she
gonna
does,
shoot,
it's scripted.
that I'm not gonna say it's scripted. I'm glad you said it, so I
We're
don't have to
back
be
in
the
the
one
scripted
that
conversation.
knock it and sunglasses knocking on my door. So like he said it, guys, not me. Go to Iowa. Don't come here. But I just have like that weird feeling that she's going to find a way to win. Steph's obviously incredible. We all know that. We just went over what he did today. Something tells me like let's say he gets like a 21, then she'll hit the winning one to get her to 23 or something goofy like that. But I just got an interesting feeling she's going to find a way to pull it off in the first of its kind event like this. Because what fun would it be if Steph gets 25 and she gets like 7? Like what fun would it be if it's a complete one-sided avalanche?
I'm thinking, I like how amazing would it be if Steph just goes out there and puts up 30s, just straight perfect score every time.
Wouldn't be surprised, to be honest with you.
Nah, I mean,
Which
he's
seems
just lights out.
more likely.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah. If you had to take a bet on who's going to hit straight 30, if they had to sit there until they made every single one and just keep on going until that was the case, who's going to hit it first? I'm putting my money on Steph.
All day.
Steph's gonna do it before everyone goes home. Like he'll find a way to do it before everyone gets bored and has to leave. He'll find a way if he wants to. The only time he doesn't hit the shots is when it's for charity at the All-Star game and he has to hit a half-court shot and he misses all of them.
I don't want to give to charity.
Smart guy. Save that money, Steph.
Well, and there was something cool about this one too. So I forget the charities, but there's charity money being given for each of these guys, or not guys, but for Steph and for Sabrina doing this challenge. For each shot that they make, I think there's going to be another something like $1,000 given to those charities or something. So another awesome little added feature to it that just kind of makes it a little more exciting. Hey, let's put some more excitement into this and put some money into it and give that money to a good cause. So a lot of fun. Jared, have you chimed in on this one yet?
You know what's so funny about this is like the whole I'm a big sneakerhead, right? So Sabrina has been kind of interesting because like her signature sneaker has kind of like changed the game. It's like the first women's sneaker a lot of guys have been rocking on the court because apparently it's like one of the best shoes Nike's ever made. That's how I got introduced to this girl's game. And honestly, I've seen a couple highlights on like TikTok and shit. She honestly can ball.
Yeah.
But Steph is Steph, man. Like my man could walk on the court blackout drunk and knock out 25 threes.
He could do it with his eyes closed.
Yeah, exactly. You slap a bandana or an eye patch on him so he has no depth perception, make him knock back a half a bottle of Henny, he'll still bang everything home.
Knock back a half a bottle of Henny, and then he ends up making every single one of them, and he goes to her rack and starts grabbing her balls and making them too.
When you said her rack, I thought that was going in a different
I'm like, wait, DJ, where are you going with that? Like,
whoa.
John, where are you going with this shit?
Only if there's consent, guys. Only if there's consent. No, I do think this is going to be a fun one to watch. And like for people who don't know who Sabrina Ionescu is, before Caitlin Clark, it was Sabrina. So I mean, like
she paves the way.
Yeah, that was definitely the girl that made a big splash in women's college basketball before Caitlin Clark. And so now Caitlin Clark's that chick. She is the one. I mean, and it's stupid too because Caitlin Clark, without her, Iowa's not good, and it's just so dumb and it's unfair how good she is. I think she might go down as the best women's college basketball player ever, just because of everything she can do.
She's got the women's record and she's going for the men's. I mean, she's coming up on Pistol Pete's record from LSU. That has stood for a very, very, very long time. I forget who it was last year. Came 1 point within. I was looking. Last shot.
I was looking into going and watching a game. I was like, I want to go watch her play. I mean, she's great. And I've even made the argument that I think she could go against a lot of guys and beat a lot of guys. That's like she's one of the very few that could do that, and it's crazy to see how talented she is. She's really good ball handler, really good. She shoots from the logo, so it's not like depth is an issue for her. So I mean, but I looked into going and watching her play, and like the average ticket price for anywhere Iowa goes is like over $250, and that's insane for a women's college basketball ticket. So I mean, that's props to her and what she's done for the sport, for the school. And I think LSU's right up there with them, with Angel Reese. What's the other star player you guys got in this year from a transfer?
So we have Flau'jae
Van Lith.
Johnson, who's been there. Van Lith, who,
She's the blonde chick, right?
right? They had her playing at point guard, and it was kind of like she's more of a shooter, not someone to dish it out. And so this past game, Mulkey made a change, put her at the 2, brought in another girl for the point guard, and Van Lith's game was completely different. She's a more of a selfish player, right? Like she goes for the bucket. And I think her being a transfer, she was trying to spread the love too much.
Yeah.
New girl in town, wants her teammates to like her, wants to get a lot of assists, things like that. It's just not her game. She shoots and she scores. But to your point, Josh, about the ticket sales, women's basketball is on the rise big time.
Oh, for sure.
The LSU South Carolina game, the cheapest ticket in that in the PMAC was, I think, $380, and that was nosebleeds. The week before, I sat in those same seats for $2. Got them on SeatGeek, $2, and they were $350 the next week for the LSU South Carolina game. So,
yeah, I mean, it really is, and it's crazy. And what's crazy too is that we didn't even plan to talk about women's basketball, but that's what these girls are doing right now, and
exactly.
They're bringing it to Belly Up After Dark. Jared, did you have an update?
Christian McCaffrey is your 2023 Offensive Player of the Year award.
You got me excited.
I gotcha.
Don't you dare do that to me
right
again.
There, Jared. Just straight edged right there.
Man.
Oh my God.
You had me sitting there. See, that's the thing that is crazy to me. So he can win Offensive Player of the Year. So he's the best offensive player, right? But then Lamar's just the most valuable. How does that work?
That doesn't make any sense.
So here's the voting summary, by the way, if you gents are curious. Christian McCaffrey, 39 votes. Tyreek Hill, 7. Lamar Jackson, 3. CeeDee Lamb, 1. And somebody gave Travis Etienne a third-place vote.
What?
Did they?
That is exactly how
I don't understand this anymore. It's probably what Chet said. There's probably somebody from
They're
Jacksonville.
From Jacksonville who wanted to sneak him on there for a ballot
He's
vote.
sitting down there chugging way too much beer, and I'm putting my vote, baby.
I can't put Goldilocks on because he threw too many interceptions, but fucking ETN, we're sending it.
This Mad Dog's going down smooth, boys. No, that's crazy.
He's sipping Old Crow at this point in the night.
That's absolutely insane.
At that point, no chaser.
No chaser. All right, let's go over back to the All-Star Weekend and just kind of go around the horn. What's your guys' favorite event at All-Star Weekend? DJ, let's start off with you because I feel like you've been the quietest.
I'm going to go with the three-point shootout. I used to love the dunk contest. It's taken a little bit of a hit recently, and I like the three-point shootout. I love seeing when they can put the way some of the guys can put the ball up, how quickly they can do it, and how they can keep their legs behind them for the entire thing. So I'm going to go with the three-point shootout, but yeah, I'll go with the three-point shootout. Yeah,
I like it. Chet, let's go over to you. What's your favorite event in an NBA All-Star Weekend?
I'm in the same category as DJ. I love the dunk contest, and I feel like the past couple of years they haven't put the best guys in it, and the dunks have been iffy at best. Like I want to see somebody dunk over a car or jump over somebody. But right now, I think mine has been the celebrity All-Star game. I like seeing the celebrities get out there. Big fan of Quavo. He gets out there and he balls. Justin Bieber's on the other side. I mean, it's cool to watch. Kevin Hart. I mean, come on.
Yeah. No, and it's fun too to see like what other celebrities are out there that they're good. Like Justin Bieber was putting on a show whenever he was out there. Myles Garrett, whenever it was in Cleveland, he put on a show. Yep. So I mean,
a lot of people don't know.
Who was that, DJ?
CJ Stroud's going to put on a show this year. He actually hoops too, so he's going to score 20.
Is CJ? See, I haven't looked at the rosters or anything, and so I looked up a few of the events, like the 3-point challenge and then the dunk challenge. So Mac McClung coming back in, he was just a shock last year. So the reigning champ coming in.
Everybody else who watched him in high school, though, it's not really a shock. Like that dude was like the only 6'2" white boy who's just flying and just throwing out ridiculous dunks in high school.
I mean, yeah, but you're going against NBA dudes who can do everything you can, hypothetically. So I mean, just the fact that he's out there doing what he could do, that was a shock last year. But the downside to putting him in a second year in a row is like he did it last year. You're trying to to throw the guy back in it right after he wins. I don't like when they do that. Give him a year off. And then bring him back, later on or something. But I don't know. I mean, I guess it's probably fair. You want it, you have to defend it. So maybe that's kind of the tactic.
Listen, Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon 1 and 2 were both phenomenal dunk contests. Let's not.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Or Dwight Howard versus Nate Robinson 1, 2, and 3.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely different when you just got several guys that are just so good at it. Like I can remember, of course, again. I'm biased. Blake Griffin. I thought that was one of my most favorite dunk contests that I can remember.
Guy didn't even make it to the finals that year, but Gerald Green was a fucking menace too. Like there's a lot of guys like that we have to remember. But also breaking news: Dwight Freeney and Andre Johnson have both been named Hall of Famers in the class of 2024.
Awesome.
Congratulations to Andre. Shout out to the U.
I got to meet Dwight Freeney back in my high school days, so that was pretty awesome. That was a lot of fun. Dwight Freeney, along with several other Colts, whenever we went up there to Lucas Oil. But yeah, I mean that's pretty awesome news.
Also, Devin Hester and Patrick Willis also just announced.
Okay, sweet.
Patrick Willis, did he had that incident over the summer where he drowned? Did he end up passing away from that, or did he make it through?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't really kept up with that.
Aren't you thinking of someone else? Is it Patrick Willis?
It's not Patrick Willis. It's the guy who was on the cover of Madden. Browns running back had the
Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, he saved somebody from drowning,
very
right?
Similar. Don't want to wish that bad mojo on Patrick Willis.
2 hurricanes getting indicted. Jesus.
Indicted. You know what? You're not wrong usually when it comes to Miami. You're not entirely wrong.
Yeah.
Just don't.
2 hurricanes get inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Shout out to Devin and Andre.
I've got the celebrity roster pulled up here.
Who all is it?
Not a lot of big names. One interesting name, you got Meta World Peace playing.
Really?
Former NBA player.
Okay.
There's not you got Walker Hayes, the country artist, going up against Micah Parsons. Tell me who's going to win that matchup.
Yeah. Walker Hayes is going to kill Micah Parsons.
Yeah. Jennifer Hudson out there and CJ Stroud. This is a very interesting NBA game.
I like when you bring the NFL guys over, I would really like to see you bring some hockey guys over, just because hockey guys are terrible at other sports.
There's a lot
of the time.
There's a lot of WNBA players, which I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, should they be playing in the celebrity game? They're going to school a bunch of these people.
In the skills competition, that's cool because they're competing on a team. But it's I want to see fucking Snoop Dogg versus Quavo. Shout out to my fellow in my hometown. Also, by the way, Quavo actually owns a house in my hometown, which I didn't even know that until my dad's friend sold him a house, which I thought was crazy during COVID. But yeah, no, I don't give a fuck about Sue.
I don't want to see basketball players.
Yeah, show me Bryce Harper versus T.O. Show me fucking. I don't.
See,
give me Miles
baseball
Teller,
players are good at basketball too. For hockey players though, it's just funny because for hockey, you think of everything that goes into hockey. If you've never attempted to play hockey, you can't diss what they're doing out there. Yeah, it's extremely hard. It's so much that you're thinking of constantly.
Just the skating part is hard.
If you've golfed before, then just a little tweak in your wrist changes the flight of the ball. Same thing with a hockey puck, and it changes so much of the flight of the puck, the direction and where the puck's going, the spin of the puck. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. So I think hockey guys, most of the time, this isn't for every hockey player, but they're just so invested in that game, and they've had to spend so much time getting so good at it that putting them in other sports, it's just funny because they're so used to practicing one sport where other guys, football, let's be honest, football is not really that difficult of a sport. It's not. I mean, there's definitely a lot of talent that goes into it. There's a lot of talented guys in it, but the sport itself isn't super talented. You're throwing a ball to each other and keeping it away from the other guy. Hockey,
they said the hardest thing in sports is to hit a 95 mile an hour fastball.
Yeah, baseball is another incredibly hard one that I think is
baseball
totally
players
underrated.
Usually the best all-around athletes because their sport is so random. But we have one more inductee into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Tar Heels legend and two-way athlete Julius Peppers is the final inductee into the Hall of Fame. Notable names not entered: Antonio Gates, Torrey Holt, Reggie Wayne, Jared Allen, Culinary Cow. Me shout out Fred Taylor, Rodney Harrison, well-deserved not being inducted. You suck, Rodney. Darren Woodson, Jari Evans. I didn't even know he was up for this. Eric Allen and Willie Anderson. Who the fuck?
Will Anderson? He's only a rookie. No, I'm just kidding.
Willie Anderson.
I know.
Jari Evans. Who the fuck tried to put Jari? I mean, he was an okay player with New Orleans, but like Chet, as a Saints fan or at least a Louisiana native,
wasn't he? Am
I
I
mean,
thinking of
he
the right
was
person?
Jari Evans. He was a okay offensive lineman.
Yeah, that's well, that's a little bit before my time. I was back. He played before I was really into.
He was the Reggie Bush era, Deuce McAllister, Reggie Bush era.
Yeah, so I was still a little young there. I mean, he was a good offensive lineman, but that's surprising
Yeah, young
for
as hell.
him to get into the Hall of Fame. I mean, well, I guess he didn't get inducted.
Yeah, I don't. He was kind of. He was like. It's kind of like seeing like Pat McAfee on there, even though Pat's more deserving, honestly, because he's overall greatest punter of all time. I'm just kidding. Also, two senior members inducted as well: Steve McMichael and Randy Gradishar, whatever. But there you go. There's your 2024 Hall of Fame inducted class.
I mean, is it not crazy to see like how many guys get inducted to the Hall of Fame and how many guys get like added to it? I mean, it's just there's a certain point where I don't know, like because there's so many guys that they were great players, but did they really deserve to be in the Hall of Fame? I mean,
well, listen, I honestly, this is the first class where I was like, yeah, every player on this list was elite.
there was a lot of there's a lot of guys that you just listed off that absolutely, but it's just, man, like we have to create tougher standards, because if you've ever been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame and seen all of the heads that are I mean, you're running out of room. You've got to got to cut back.
Okay, so out of the five current
Expansion.
Yeah.
The five current gen players, right? Julius Peppers was a top 3 pass rusher in the league for 5, 6, 7, 8 years, whatever you want to put it. Devin Hester, the greatest return man of all time, say Dante Hall, maybe Deshaun Jackson, but
I think
Dwight
Devin Hester
Freeney.
is probably still.
Yeah, Dwight
Top 3.
Freeney, the most elite spin move for a decade, and the defensive anchor for those Colts teams. Andre Johnson was the best bad quarterback receiver ever. And then Patrick Willis was a top 3 linebacker in football for his entire career because he retired early. Everyone talks about Luke Kuechly being a lock-in Hall of Famer. No. Kuechly was good. Willis was better. Like, go back and watch his hit on Brad Smith. The next play, he picks off a pass, or I believe knocks a pass down and almost picks it off. That just shows how good Patrick Willis was as a linebacker. He was the next Ray Lewis, if it wasn't for his injury problems towards that last end of his career. But he played every single year at Pro Bowl level. So, to me, I think this was the first class we've had in a while where everyone deserved it.
Yeah.
Without question.
Yeah, you can always make an argument for really anybody, but yeah, this is definitely one of the toughest classes, like for being put into the Hall of Fame. But back to NBA All-Star Weekend, favorite event, Jared?
I'm going to agree with Chet here. I was a dunk contest fan through and through. My first dunk contest I watched was Jay Rich's first title. My favorite one is still Zach LaVine versus Aaron Gordon Part 2. Because, listen, you jump from the free throw line and throw it up between the legs dunk, you are a freak of nature. That also being said, the Celebrity All-Star Game, until I heard who the guests were this year,
I'm not interested
was
in
my
anymore.
favorite. This ruined it for me. The NBA, you found a way to Pro Bowl this up. Congratulations. But, yeah, like, literally, one of my favorite moments was T.O. throwing down a windmill dunk down the fast break, and I think he was being guarded by one of the chicks from from ABC Family was trying to guard him. I love that shit, okay? I love the fact that some 5'4" actor is trying to guard 6'3", 4'4" running Terrell Owens. I think this was in his Buffalo or Cowboys days. So, like, peak T.O. I love it. I love every second of it. So yeah, no, like the NBA had a gold mine here, the celebrity game. By the way, the MLB celebrity game, got to give a shout out. The softball game actually is mad fun. Just crack a whiskey and just sit there and just watch the pure entertainment. But yeah, no, the celebrity basketball game was probably my favorite. But I think the dunk contest has the highest ceiling.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. I mean, everybody
Definitely.
loves to see the big dunks.
yeah, like
Definitely.
honestly, you don't even have to get like a LeBron. Go get next year with Ja being healthy. Go get Ja versus Anthony Edwards versus like Jalen Brown and Derek Jones Jr., Jalen Green, and like
Jalen Brown
boom.
is in it this year. He was cleared.
Yeah,
I believe.
Jalen Brown. Like, let's say Jalen Brown wins it, have him return, and then bring in like Jalen Green, Ant, and
I like having them defend
Ja.
their title.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
That's
not.
cool.
I'm not against it. I don't know. I
Throw in a big man.
I just
throw
don't like
in
seeing the
some
same
guy
guy
with-
every year.
Yeah, throw in a big man too. Like throw in a undersized point guard. Like show us some value.
I guess
Pay
it's just
the players
disappointing
double the
when they
play.
don't defend it, when they end up losing.
Zion, sack up and go do the dunk contest.
Yeah. Yeah, can we get guys to stop being a bunch of wussies and you know?
They shouldn't be allowed to say no. Make them do
Like
it.
Yeah,
Adam.
to quote DJ's co-host on my show before, LeBron's to blame for all of this.
yeah. I mean, I'm not going to argue with it. There's a reason why people have a hard time liking LeBron. It's not just out of nowhere. You know, it's because he's one of those guys. I don't think anybody denies the fact of how great he is at basketball. It's just the pure fact of his personality, who he is, and what he does on and off the court. I mean, he's whining and flopping and sitting out of games and sitting out of contests. Back in the day, like you didn't have Michael Jordan and Larry Bird and all of these big time guys sit out from stuff like this because it's for the fans. You're playing a game, and it's a game for the fans. Were you throwing a penalty flag at me?
Yeah,
No,
because
I was
I messed
watching
up.
Okay.
Kelce was the one who said it was actually Hector. Shout out to our boy Hector for saying that LeBron is the reason why the dunk contest sucks. But you're right, and this is why people will always like Michael and Kobe over him.
Yeah.
It's that they didn't say stupid shit in the press. They didn't like. As much as he has every right to express his opinion about anything, right? Like he's a human being. We're in America. You have every right to talk. Sometimes I don't want to hear what my athlete has to say about this issue in politics or this favorite condiment that you put on your fucking taco. I don't care.
See, I'm split. I'm split on that because I do think if you feel strongly about something, you use the platform that you've got to stand up for it. And so I'm okay. Like I'm split because I'm right there with you. I don't disagree with you.
Listen, I admire the fact, and I'm going to say this once, I admire the fact that LeBron is outspoken about what he believes in. That's fine.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. You have every right to protest anything or talk about anything, but it's how he acts on the court, how he acts with these events, how he acts with him as a player, how he almost acts like he's the grand don of the NBA. When this crown was handed to him by David Stern and Adam Silver. And to be all honest, he squandered what he could have had. I think physically talent-wise, he's the most physically talented player in NBA history. And what does he have to show for it? A mixed reputation, 3.5 titles.
See, the thing that I have with LeBron is I never saw Kobe or Michael, you can go on the list, pretend like they read a book to make themselves look smart to the press.
Fair page of the Malcolm X diary.
So it's not the fact that he's standing up for something
before they were the Migos when he
Yeah,
just said that quote.
Yeah. And I mean, yeah, like it's like I don't. It's not the fact that I don't want him to speak out against what he believes in. Just don't pretend like you know what you're talking about. That's the only thing for me. And so like that's the thing that I don't want you speaking out against something when you don't know what you're talking about. So that's totally the big thing with LeBron for me. And you know what? I love watching him play. I really do because he's super talented, and I'm never going to deny him his talent. But guys, let's jump on to our last thing that we're going to discuss. One that will probably catch you guys off guard. We're going to play a little bit of a game. We're going to play Guess That Super Bowl MVP. We're coming up on the Super Bowl, and so we're going to play a little game, see if you guys can pick. Do you guys? I should have planned this out for you guys. Do you guys have anything to write on in front of you? Or if you have your
I
phones, you
got
can
it
you can put it on your notepad or something on your phone.
Let me make sure there's no curse words or horrible profanities. Here we go. Change over.
I should have planned that part ahead because I just now thought of that. So I'm gonna kind of go down and we're gonna list off the
I was gonna write Brian Johnson as a commie, and it's not talking about politics. So that was my joke for the day.
No, you have to make a real educated guess on this. So it's a Super Bowl MVP that you have to guess. I'll give you guys a list of hints whenever you guys are ready. Give me a thumbs up.
All right.
All right, everybody's ready. Awesome. So I didn't even plan this out, and you guys are all ready for me anyways. All right, so it was in Super Bowl 53. This is the Patriots versus the Rams on February 3rd, 2019 in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. The attendance was 70,081 people in attendance. It was 3-3 at the end of the third quarter when the Patriots came back and scored 10 in the fourth quarter to win 13-3 with a lone touchdown by Sonny Michel. The touchdown came from the 2-yard line with 7 minutes left of the game. Man, that was a very quick one from DJ, and I was expecting you guys to ask even more. So we've got Tom Brady. I can't read your chicken scratch, Jared. And then we've got Julian Edelman.
Edelman.
As soon as I wrote Tom Brady, I felt like Edelman was right.
And the answer is
I couldn't remember.
Edelman. Julian Edelman was the answer. Man, that you guys were pretty good with that one. That was an easy one, I guess.
So that one was the one that no one in the state of Louisiana watched, even though the no call, that was like the boycott. No one so I didn't even watch the game, but I was like, sounds like Brady.
I don't want to fucking hear it.
You took a good guess, and that's kind of what I expected more from.
I figured it was gonna,
but I was also expecting you guys to be like, "Can you tell me this stat or something?" You know, like, "Hey, give me one more."
You're dealing with like four guys who have a sports IQ of like 550. Okay?
Yeah, I know. But you know, and what I was thinking about doing was going back to like 1972 or something.
No
like that.
shot.
Bring it on.
Back it all the way up.
You gotta go like 2000 through like 2023. We probably know 95% of those.
Yeah, I mean DJ. I knew DJ was going to guess it. I was just like, I know he's going to get it. But yeah, we'll definitely try to.
The topics, there's a lot in there.
Yeah.
That's all.
I feel like DJ is the guy too that just knows stats. Him and Jay from Unfair Sports are the two guys that know stats that you're like, how do you even look those stats up? And like,
Jay's got like a Neuralink chip in those dreads of his. Like that's where he hides it.
They're talking.
Yeah, they like whisper in his ear. They're like, hey.
See, DJ actually paid for the implant. There's like a scar on the back of his head from it. Like Jay just hides his in his fucking dreads.
It's not a scar. I just have less hair there, you dickhead. Thanks for rubbing it in.
DJ, my hairline's catching up to yours, dog. I won't be far behind you.
I'm getting a little bit of gray and white in the beard too. I'm about to be salt and pepper distinguished real quickly.
That's because you're just elderly.
See, I still look 14 and I still got a full head of hair, so I've got nothing to complain about over here.
Josh won't have a full beard until he's 50.
Exactly. No, I literally only grow it on the right side of my face, so that doesn't make any sense at all. But so I just have to keep it clean shaven. No, I love it. No, I really didn't expect you guys to guess it that quick. I was thinking for sure, but that at the same time, I felt like DJ was going to have it, and I was going to give everybody one chance for a hey. Do you need one more? Do you need one more clue? You can ask any question, and I was gonna give you an answer to any of your questions if I could find it or if I had it down.
Josh.
You got to give us one clue at a time, and if nobody has an answer, then you go to the next clue.
I should have just stopped at Super Bowl 53 and then see if you guys were ready. And then
let's do it that way.
Give everybody. All right, let me pull up another one then. Just because I was only planning on just one Super Bowl MVPs. You guys are gonna have to guess this one. All right. Let's go. How far back do you guys want to go? Let's go.
The year, if it happened, then I can
years.
Go and just give us like the number and who played in it. Just give us those ones.
Let's go 40. Let's see. Yeah, I got to make sure I got this right. 45. XLV would be 45. Yeah, so Super Bowl 45. We had the Green Bay Packers 1. Let me look up that game real quick. Okay, he already won it. Just like that.
Yeah. Ron.
All right.
I couldn't think of a clever nickname. There's too many to pick from, so I just had to keep it simple with A-Rod. I couldn't make a decision.
I was gonna say Captain COVID, but
Okay, here's one.
Say-
XL. So I've got to think here. Roman numerals are hard. This one I'm gonna have to look up. 48. So Super Bowl 48. Let me look up Super Bowl 48. Just because this is one. So
Tom Brady.
It was not Tom Brady. So I will give you that much. He crosses it off. Never mind then. I was trying to guess it early. All right, so we've got Super Bowl 48. We had the Seattle Seahawks against the Denver Broncos.
Oh, I know this one.
And it was February 2nd, 2014.
The correct answer is Malcolm Smith, Alex.
I couldn't write it quick enough. There you go.
Yeah, you guys are supposed to wait until I say flip it over, but DJ's just like, I'm the first one.
You ain't first, you're right.
See, that was one.
Apparently, I have horrible handwriting.
I was looking through the record books. That was one that I wouldn't have guessed, and so I was like, oh, maybe this one will throw him off a little bit. But no, you guys had it down. We're definitely going to play more of that on upcoming. We'll probably play more of it. I know I had some planned for the Super Bowl show on Saturday, so make sure to tune in 9:30 Eastern time. That's 8:30 Central here on the Belly Up YouTube channel and also on Belly Up Facebook page as well. Make sure to tune in and join us in the chat for that on Super Bowl. Did you have something, chat?
I was going to ask, since it's 8:30 in the morning, are we expected to bring coffee and breakfast instead of beer like we did tonight?
Yes, it's kind of the opposite. So instead of grabbing your brewski, it's grabbing a.
Should I set my camera up over like the stove and I can be making breakfast while I'm giving Super Bowl picks?
I love the idea. I love it. I'm not gonna knock.
I'll look into it.
I'm not gonna knock some
I'll
good
be
ideas.
doing lines of pre-workout by the end of it, getting ready to hit the gym.
Just
Let's go get pumped.
got creatine in my system, baby. But make sure to tune in. That's going to be this Saturday. So make sure to tune in. It's Saturday, February 10th at 9:30 Eastern Time, 8:30 Central Time, right here on the Billy Up channel. Make sure to jump in on the chat with us and join us. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have all four of us plus some extra guests. I guess DJ is going to have a segment that he'll be jumping in for. And so we're going to make sure to have an amazing show talking everything about the Super Bowl coming up. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. Let's go ahead and go around the horn real quick. DJ, where do we find your stuff, man?
Go and check us out at High-Low Sports for everything, Twitter, X, Facebook, YouTube, all of that. Go check us out there. We have Tier Tuesdays every Tuesday, and we go live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. and find our podcast anywhere you like to listen to podcasts as well afterwards if you need the audio version. So go find us pretty much anywhere.
High-Low Sports. Chet, what about you? Where do we find your stuff?
Sports Scramble Podcast, anywhere you get your podcasts. Same on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Live every Sunday night, 8 o'clock. Make sure you go hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to 1,000. I think we're at 850, 851, so we're almost there. We're getting there. So help us get 1,000. We got some big college baseball content coming out soon.
Absolutely. Sports Scramble, boys. Jared, where do we find your stuff?
You can find me and the rest of the Three Musketeers at Everything Corner Booth Pod on all things Twitter or X, whatever the hell it is, Instagram, Facebook. And we always make the joke that Chris has an OnlyFans, even though it doesn't exist.
Drop the link.
You can find us at all things Corner Booth with a K on anywhere you find your podcast. Thursdays we do our Corner Booth live show all through the year, and Mondays and Tuesdays alternating during the off season. We have the Corner Booth podcast itself, where we're going to have more guests, more segments. And Chris and Matt are also experimenting with doing their own forms of either short shows or content. So look out for that as well. But yeah, no, it's always a good time with us. Always a good time having a beer with the boys in the Corner Booth.
Yeah, 100%. And this is Belly Up After Dark every second and fourth. Jared and I do have that down now, hopefully, until the next time. So every second and fourth Thursday of the month, make sure to tune in right here on the Belly Up YouTube channel to join us here for Belly Up After Dark. I'm Josh Mahler, host of Rising to the Occasion. You can find us at rising2.com. That's risingto.com. That's where you can find everything that we do. We're also on YouTube, so if you search for Rising to the Occasion, you should be able to find us just fine over there. But boys, thank you all so much for joining me, and of course, Jared, you're just locked in. You have to join. So, I don't know if
I'm stuck here. Anybody else got a key for this chain he put around my ankle?
I don't know if I have to thank you. But for everybody else who joined in watching, we thank you so much. Make sure to hit that like button, and you can find everything from Belly Up Sports at bellyupsports.com. Check out everything there. That link is down in the description as well. But we thank you all so much for joining in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and tune in next time.
Joe Flacco, comeback player of the year.
Oh, okay. And we never even got to the MVP yet, so you're just going to have to tune in next time when we talk about how garbage it is that Lamar won it. But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.